I think it's clear from anyone from the outside looking in or anyone from the inside looking in that the MCU has definitely lost their spark. And it's quite sad actually, because not even a couple of years, not even 5 years ago actually, where we just all like the unity that comes when Infinity War and Endgame came out, and it was just like a flashbulb moments for many, including myself. So to turn around and then we're so divided just 2-3 years later, it's just like kind of wild. Like, how did we even end up here? And for anyone like actually paying attention, you know that it's not just one particular aspect that has got us here, but rather it's just a culmination of just bad decisions on top of bad mindsets on top of more bad decisions. And it can definitely see its origins starting in Phase 4. Like, Phase 4 is when we really see this in display the most. We see the little issues of the previous phases just being bolstered in this new and current phase. And I say that it all has to find its origins for the most part, or at least find its core idea, in that the MCU chose from the beginning not to focus on their dedicated fans, but rather they went into this phase with the mindset that they're going to try to get everyone who's not a fan to be a fan, whether they like it or not. And they decided to do so by trying to stretch itself too much to be everything, while also being so limited that everything felt the same too, if that makes any sense. So when they tried to reach out and try to connect with everyone, they unintentionally heighten this volatile idea of stan culture. No one views stan culture as this amazing thing. They view it as annoyance, something pessimistic that just ruins the enjoyment for them. And that's pretty much what has happened to this company. It starts back with WandaVision. It's the first official Phase 4 project, and it's when really people outside the realm have their first pretty much interactions with this company. You know, it was a mixture of it as well, because people had nothing else to do, so they just be like, hey, you know, I have Disney Plus, I'm gonna go check it out. Huge hit, major success. Of course they become fans of it. But then you have the stan accounts, you have them flooding Twitter, you have the general negativity that is being spread. And it's not like these never existed in the first place, as we've seen them with multiple shows beforehand. You know, we've seen this with other MCU releases as well, so it's not like a new idea. Like, I'm not gonna go out there and just say that it's all been just Phase 4, everything Phase 4 bad and everything previous good, because it has been a culmination of ideas that has led us to this point. This is obviously going to bleed to other people just not enjoying the show, and instead of just like letting it go and people enjoying their own thing, they have to actively make sure that people don't like it as well as them. And then you have this growing opposition that slowly become more extreme as time goes on, to the point where it's people that defend everything and people that criticize everything, and they're just going back and forth about a company that could not care less about them. Now, I'm not going to say the company itself isn't without blame just to push everything on the consumer, as it has definitely made a lot of bad choices with the opportunity that it's been given, or at least they prioritize the financial aspects over the essential quality of the shows that they're making, because they have somehow made a multi-billion-dollar industry seem even more soulless with time, with the releases coming out like crazy, to the point that they don't share the same amount of excitement as they once did before. They're just pushing out project after project after project and just making the essential reading crazy. Like, I know plenty of people who have given up trying to stay with the show because it has come with too much required homework of watching 2 movies and 3 Disney Plus shows to even realize why this person's hair changed colors. And as a whole, they have diluted their products so much to the point that they have slightly decreased in overall quality as well. Like, I'm not going to say that there have been all terrible projects, as I really like the series like WandaVision and Loki, but obviously those one in a few projects can't make up for the entirety of the bad that they produce. Like Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, this hyped up event, and don't even get me started on like Thor or Love and Thunder, because that's also been an extremely underwhelming performance, especially how they hyped it up with Christian Bale being along and them saying that he was the highest, or reported the highest, most understandable or relatable character or villain or something like that. I don't know. They have been chasing the public to the point that they are shooting themselves in the foot in the process. Because let's not even talk about the CGI issues as well, because that is highly apparent. You know, it would be a mistake for me to actively go through this entire thing and just not mention that It's also a me problem. It's also an individualistic problem because I'm just sick and tired of the typical Marvel way of doing things. Because I feel like there's more than just turning a character into the quirky, out there character for them to be relatable to a general audience. But that just doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to this project. That just doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to this company. They think turning everyone into the quirky out there person that cracks jokes every time is the only way to get people to like you, and that's just not the case. We see it in the Batman, a lot of DC releases as well. While yes, comedy can be applied perfectly to people like Peter Quill, it kind of doesn't work in other instances. Now, I really think that nothing's really going to happen substantially. It's just that this company is going to keep going and going and going to the point that it's going to hit its eventual decrease in care, which is something that I really hope doesn't happen because there's so many great components that come with comics and the characters and everything involved. And it just sucks because I want to see those things portrayed on camera, but I also want to see them portrayed in meaningful ways. Because the MCU, like love it or hate it, is the first successful comic adaptation universe out there. They're the first company to do it and do it well to the point where they have these installments that last over 20 years. But in their constant dread of trying to get the next person, no, I want this person, no, I want this person. And then it's just ultimately dividing people up and dividing them even more. I can't even predict what's going to happen to this company in 5 years, 4 years, 2 years, even in 6 months.